Hey, what's happening? It's your dude, the merciless Reese L. Black. Welcome back to the booth. Today I wanted to go ahead and discuss something a little bit touchy, deep, but something that's most needed. Let's go ahead and just speak for a second on the negligence of men's mental health. As you guys probably heard over the few days, there was even an incident where a young boy was bullied at school, and he came back and he handled that shit. He gave everybody smoke, literally. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about how come, maybe I haven't looked into it much, but how come there were no signs expressed? Let's go ahead and take this time to travel back in time as we were little kids, especially us men. We were never taught not to cry. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. I know some people want to make it seem like, hey, we were raised like, don't you dare cry. No, that wasn't even the case. If we were told that we bet not cry, it wasn't not necessarily to show weakness. It was pretty much just to let us know like, hey, if you cry, you're going to get teased. Not because you're weak. It's because seeing another little boy cry is just kind of some funny shit. And I will go ahead and be guilty of that. When I saw a little boy crying on the playground or something when I was in elementary school, we laughed at the shit. The shit was hilarious. But we didn't basically poke fun like, man, you kind of weak for crying and shit. Nah, it's just looking at him cry. He had an ugly cry. He had an ugly ass crying face. We laughed at it. But we're talking about as far as sorrow and pain. We were never really told how to express that. I know that we actually have people now that we're grown adults saying like, hey, if you need to let it out, let it out. But as kids, we kept it in out of fear of, like I said, either being teased, or some of us probably just thought we were going to get in trouble, period. We have no idea why. But when we got hurt, or when our feelings got hurt, not physically hurt, let's go ahead and start with the feelings. When we got our feelings hurt, we never wanted to go tell mom about it or tell dad about it. What type of response are you going to get? Just because this little girl didn't like us and we're 7 years old and they didn't like us back, and we come in the house all quiet and we about to cry and shit, what kind of response are you going to give that kid? So we just never expressed it. And a lot of us, we've actually been there. Or if one of the homies in the sandbox said, I don't want to be your friend anymore, and they just started rocking with another dude, playing basketball with him and shit, we actually got sad about shit like that, you believe it or not. And then so we just kept that all bottled in. Even if we played sports, if we did not get a good job, do a good job, if our coach damn near shamed us in front of all the other players, we just kind of held that shit in. Some of us were able to turn that around and look at that as motivation. It's like, okay, coach said that I wasn't shit and I sucked on that play. Well, you know what? I'm going to show his ass that I'm going to do better on the next play. Or we just practice harder. And I think that is actually what has been missing coming up into today's age. There's really not much of a practice for young boys when they start to transition into junior high school or high school, or even college. There was not too much mental management and preparation by parents for when their kids were going up in there. So they kind of just had to wing it. Don't get me wrong. Some of us, we conquered it. You clown me, I clowned your ass back. Honestly, to tell you the truth, some of us even made friends with the dude that was clowning us or whatever. They've been day one since this day. And then you got others out there that cannot handle being teased. But when it comes to the whole bully aspect, it's almost like, okay, when we hear the word bully, we're talking about physical assault here. But also now they're putting put downs and teasing underneath the whole bully spectrum. And I know some of us are just like, what kind of shit is that? Because we kind of grew up hard where it's just like, if you got teased, you just tease them back. But now this teasing is now affecting young men and of course, young girls. So let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit deeper. My thing is this, where is it starting from? Does it start from home? Does the mental neglect start from the parents? When their parents clearly see this kid is not acting right, is mom or dad, do they even care? Are they even asking? Are they saying, hey, it's okay? Are they giving any type of invite where it's like, yo, you can talk to me if something's wrong, what's going on with you, because you acting pretty brand new. What's the deal with you? You're not eating. You're not smiling. You barely talk to us. Like, really, what is the deal with you? Or is it just like, teenagers, and you just move on? And another thing is, are these kids just like this now because of social media? You see that everything is just all, glitter and gold on social media, to the point where they get so addicted to it. They want these lifestyles that they see. You have young girls seeing these Instagram models' bodies, just wishing that they had this body. Is this contributing to mental health? For young boys, you see men on the ground posing in front of luxury cars and homes, surrounded by chicks, holding money to the ear. Is this contributing to depression because you don't have it? And if you did have it, who's to say that was going to make you happy? I think there were so many avenues of mental health. Now we're going into dating, into relationships, and this seems to be the one that makes people the most depressed. There are actually people right now dating with low self-esteem. There's some people out there dating with very, very high self-esteem. And that actually goes into the aspect of mental health too. You pedestalizing yourself. You're seeing you're all that. You're seeing that you're superior. All of this stuff right there is going to go into mental health. You're over here kicking your own ass because you're feeling that you're not good enough. Who preps for that? Especially if you came from an area where you've been told what to do all through high school. You've been coached. You've been told to go to college, strive for a career. And then when you get out of that bad boy college, you just realize, like, wait a minute, the real world kind of sucks. I have this master's degree, and I work in retail, or I work in customer service in a call center. This is not where I'm supposed to be, unless you're in STEM. That's the only exception. But for the average individual, they end up getting depressed because they kind of feel like they're not where they're supposed to be. And did these people get a chance back in the day when they were young? Did their parents even ask them, what do you want to be when you get older? What do you want to strive for? What are you inspired to do? When was the last time you heard of kids actually having field trips to college campuses or to factories? I can't even remember the last time I seen a kid go on a field trip to even a museum, but it depends on the state you're in. I'm sure in other affluent areas, they have enough money in their schools where they can do all that. But we're just talking about mental health. Is mental health really geared to, man, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, this sucks? Or is discrimination still playing a part? Is prejudice still playing a part? There's so many avenues to this, to the point where it's like, the confusion is so vile that now men really don't have, and I'm just sticking with the men for this point, we really don't have an avenue of where to go to until the podcast was created. The panels were created. Now we have this area where men come together and they talk about these things. This has become our remedy. Yeah, it does kind of suck that you motherfucking trolls will come out of nowhere and you will still go ahead and defile the shit, but we ignore you guys anyways. But now the podcast or the panels have now been a great avenue for men to pretty much just talk about their issues. And you know what? They put everything on the table too. There's no issue that is too small, whether it's just like, hey, you just feel bummed out because you're just not grabbing the chicks you want to grab. That could play a little thing on mental health as well. I don't want to minimize that. Some men out there actually just feel better depending on what woman they're kicking it with. Everybody is different. Just like you have other men out there who feel like, hey, my money ain't right, so they're going to fall into this deep depression. Their career is not right. They're going to fall into this deep depression. So now it is so good that we actually have platforms like mine where people could pretty much express how they feel and do their best to see, okay, what can we do as a group to rectify it for one another? And what are the solutions that we could put in place? That's what's great about this space. I know right now a lot of people are putting a lot of dirt on the title Manosphere, but that's basically what this is supposed to be. The Manosphere is supposed to be the arena where men take care of each other. It shouldn't always just be about dating and relationships and all that other shit, but it should just be this arena of just socializing and doing what we can to make each man greater. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be an answer to feminism or no shit like that. It's like, no, this is literally an arena where men come together for solutions in whatever area. Finances, economics, history, education, it's all here. That's what's great about this space. It doesn't always have to be about social entertainment. It could be about whatever it wants to be. But mental health, I'm going to go ahead and declare the shit. It is now at the forefront because we're making it at the forefront. So make sure you guys do what you guys can as far as supporting other platforms where they actually discuss this shit, because this shit is getting bad right now. The moment we have men bullying men, it's like, yeah, the bullies need to be checked. Are you being bullied at home, Mr. Bully? Because in essence, that's usually where bullying comes from. Somebody whooped your ass at home and you got to go to school and you got to conquer the next motherfucker just to make yourself seem bigger. That's usually how it plays. Mental health is expanded in all areas of the victim and, of course, of the aggressor. It goes hand in hand. But I just wanted to go ahead and take the time to go ahead and throw that video out there. So, hey, do what you can to support those other platforms that actually bring up issues on mental health. You know, throw them a super chat, throw a donation, whatever it may be, or just give them a thumbs up, just share their videos, just listen. But we need this situation, this subject needs to be spread big time. You guys know how I do. I'm out this piece. Good evening, Mr. Black.